I'm going to tell you something that might fundamentally change how you view one of the most infamous villains in comic book history. This is the dark truth behind Doomsday. Metropolis, 1992. The death of Superman storyline had just concluded, and comic book fans around the world were reeling. Superman, the Man of Steel, the symbol of hope, the most powerful hero on Earth, was dead. Killed in brutal hand-to-hand combat by a creature called Doomsday. For decades, Doomsday has been remembered as nothing more than a mindless killing machine, a monster of pure destruction. But what if that assessment is fundamentally wrong? What if Doomsday was actually something far more complex, a hero in disguise? Let's start at the beginning. Doomsday's origin is one of the most horrific in comic book history. 250,000 years ago, on the planet Krypton, a scientist named Bertrand conducted an experiment in forced evolution. He took a humanoid infant and released it onto Krypton's surface, then one of the most hostile environments in the universe. The creature died almost immediately. Bertrand collected the remains, cloned them, and released the new version. It died again and again and again. This cycle repeated for decades. Each time the creature died, it was reborn slightly stronger, slightly more resilient. With an evolutionary memory of its previous deaths, it couldn't die the same way twice. Bertrand was essentially torturing a being into existence, forcing it through thousands upon thousands of deaths. The trauma was unimaginable, and it was all recorded in the creature's genetic memory. Here's where things get interesting. When Doomsday finally became strong enough to survive Krypton's surface, what was the first thing he did? He killed Bertrand. The being who had tortured him for 30 years, who had subjected him to unfathomable suffering. Doomsday eliminated him. This wasn't mindless violence, this was justice. Don't. But Doomsday didn't stop there. He left Krypton and traveled across the universe, and everywhere he went, he seemed drawn to one particular type of target. Those who threatened innocent populations. On the planet Kundia, he fought against an invading army. On Calatin, he battled against oppressive rulers. Time and time again, Doomsday appeared on worlds under threat and destroyed the threat. Now you might be thinking, but he also killed innocents along the way, and you'd be right. Doomsday's methods were devastating, his collateral damage immense. But consider this, Doomsday was never taught morality. He was never shown kindness. He was born in pain, raised in death, and emerged with nothing but rage. His moral compass was shattered before it ever had a chance to form. What's remarkable isn't that Doomsday caused destruction. It's that, buried beneath all that trauma, there remained some instinct to fight against oppression. Some deeply embedded drive to confront those who wielded power against the vulnerable. Which brings us to Earth. When Doomsday arrived, he immediately began carving a path of destruction toward Metropolis. Why Metropolis? Of all the cities on Earth, why that one? The answer might be simpler than we think. Superman. Superman represented the ultimate power figure. A being of immense strength who positioned himself as protector of Earth. To Doomsday's traumatized mind, Superman may have registered as another Bertrand, another powerful being controlling the fate of weaker creatures. Doomsday wasn't attacking Earth randomly. He was going after what he perceived as the greatest threat. And here's where it gets truly tragic. Superman was nothing like Bertrand. Superman was genuinely good, genuinely protective. But Doomsday couldn't perceive that. His capacity for recognizing benevolence had been destroyed by centuries of torture. All he could see was power, and power, in his experience, always meant suffering for the weak. In a twisted way, Doomsday was trying to protect Earth. He was trying to eliminate what he saw as its greatest potential oppressor. His methods were catastrophic, his judgment fundamentally broken, but the impulse, buried deep beneath the rage and trauma, was protective. Some comic writers have actually explored this angle. In certain storylines, Doomsday has been shown developing something approaching conscience, questioning his violent impulses, even briefly allying with heroes against greater threats. These moments suggest that the creature Bertrand created was never truly evil, just irreparably damaged. Consider the implications. Doomsday is essentially a trauma survivor with no support system, no therapy, no chance at recovery. He was engineered to be a weapon, tortured into becoming one, and then released into a universe that only ever responded to him with more violence. Every hero who fought him, every army that attacked him, they only reinforced the lesson Bertrand had taught, that existence means suffering, and strength is the only protection. What if someone had approached Doomsday differently? What if, instead of meeting his violence with violence, someone had found a way to reach the traumatized being underneath? We'll never know. But it's worth asking whether the greatest villain in Superman's history was actually a victima, being whose heroic instincts were twisted into something monstrous by unimaginable cruelty. The dark truth behind Doomsday isn't that he was evil, it's that he never had the chance to be anything else. And that might be the most tragic story in comic book history.